Hello and welcome to another edition of Yorkshire Hood. We've got a packed show coming up for you today, haven't we, Brett? You've been excited for this one.
Yeah, dead right, I have. We've got some Vikings coming up. Natalie visited a Viking festival in York this week, and I'm really interested to see how she got on.
Me too. I went to Corn Valley Museum as well, which is another historical reenactment.
It's not as cool as Vikings though, is it?
Well, we'll have to wait and see. You could be surprised.
We're also going to be looking at how Aaron got on with his ghost hunting trip to Doncaster.
But first, the moment Brett has been waiting for, Vikings. Natalie went to York this week to visit a Viking festival marking 30 years of festivals in the city. Let's see how she got on.
Over 1,000 years ago, York was under the rule of the Vikings. No one can deny that their fearsome warriors created this Yorkvik town, and now they're back to conquer again for the second time.
For the best part of a century, large parts of north and east of England were ruled by Viking kings based in York. Vikings were sea-born Scandinavians. They were self-sufficient people who could take full advantage of what nature provided.
This is one of the routes where the Vikings may have come to invade York in 866 AD. The Yorkvik Viking Centre will recreate a Viking Age street where remains of Norse-era Coppergate were found.
I'm Bjarni Thorvaldsson.
Right.
And I'm a Viking raider and a trader as well.
Right.
And the purpose of our visit here is to explain to people what it's like to be a Viking. And not just all the warrior stuff as well, although that's obviously very important in my line of work,
Yeah.
but what it's like to everyday life, growing up to be a Viking.
They had single-storey properties with wattle walls and thatched roofs that they used for both homes and workshops.
This is called a touchstone. This is for evaluating the purity of the silver.
Okay.
So like you have a coin and you want to see how pure the silver is.
Yeah.
Well, these here, these are all different grades of silver, and you scratch the touchstone, so you get a scratch mark with each of these pieces of silver. And then you scratch your coin across, and you compare the marks, because you know the purity of these silver. The one that this is closest to, you know roughly how pure the silver in the coin is.
It's thanks to the discovery in York that we know about the Viking craftsmen, the Viking Christianity and the Viking community.
This is designed to protect and terrify as well.
Right.
Yeah, so the eyes. Do you want to put it on?
I'll have a try on.
Yeah? Right. Let's see about getting that on you. Oh.
Wow. It's a heavy.
It is heavy.
Yeah, very heavy.
But it protects.
And yeah, I can
Yeah.
tell. So has it done you justice?
Oh yeah. You see, and also what a Viking warrior would do is he'd black out his eyes as well.
Right.
With charcoal or pitch, so that when you actually see the Viking warrior coming at you, and all you see are these two black holes with the whites of the eyes in behind the eye holes there, then it looks absolutely terrifying.
Wow, so more the look of death and
Yes.
horror.
Yes, but also
Wow.
it gives you lots of protection. So any cuts coming in across will just bounce off, and your cheeks are protected, and your face is protected. So it gives you a lot of protection.
By 866 AD, they were well established and had gathered a great army. A display of raw power signalised the start of the 30th Viking festival in Coppergate, where the warriors set up camp.
The Volsung Vikings are a York reenactment group who specialise in Viking ways of life, who accurately present its history through living and displays of combat.
Oh, 35 yards of them!
The festival brings over 40,000 visitors to York, truly bringing the Viking experience to the centre.
Right, this one will do. Take it. Off we go. See you later. Stay.
So there we go, Brett. You happy now?
Ecstatic. Well, a void has been filled. Now, keeping with the themes of way back when, you went to see a historical reenactment this week, didn't you?
I did, yes. I went to Gulkert and I went to Colne Valley Museum, and here is what happened. Have you ever thought about what it'd be like back in the day? Yes? Well, we have the answers for you right here.
At Colne Valley Museum. From guns to oat-based pancakes, this museum has it all for those interested in reenacting the time period around the Battle of Waterloo. The Havercake Lads, otherwise known as the 33rd Regiment of Foot, was raised in the Halifax area, and a havercake, a traditional Yorkshire oatcake, is where the name came from.
We're here to see how much times have changed, with everyone doing their bit to make the experiences as authentic as possible, dressing to impress.
Everyone working in the museum puts their best foot forward and dresses in character to create an authentic experience for all the museum visitors. Although we can't expect them to stay in character all day. The Havercake ladies are based in the Victorian kitchen at the bottom of Colne Valley Museum and can be seen here making the traditional havercake. There was either the cake or the biscuit, all of which guests were sampling and enjoying, even me. A havercake is now more simply referred to as an oatcake, but for historical purposes they've stuck with tradition. Oatcakes were a stable part of the diet of a havercake lad, and the records show that pubs sold havercakes covered in cheese as one of the options. The recipe for an oatcake at its simplest is a little yeast, salt, and water, mixed to a thick cream and thrown onto a bake stone or griddle.
The ladies come in and bake, and so that again we can sort of make part of the museum come alive again, show how things were cooked and what was eaten in the times of sort of the pre-Victorian period and the Victorian period. And we tend to do the camp followers or the women that were left behind, because not all the women went on campaign and things like that, and life for a woman who was left behind was very, very hard. And so one of the great things about the museum, they have school visits, and we will get children that will bring their parents when we've got events on, because they have been and they want to show the parents what they've been doing. And then conversely, we will also get parents who have been here as a child who are bringing their children to see the museum.
On the Sunday, the Havercakes lads gathered, fully dressed in their traditional red uniforms, piping and drumming and marching down towards the museum's kitchens, where the oat-based cakes are made. They got changed and practiced beforehand in the Yorkshire Scout and Community Centre, and did their rehearsals before the big march down to the museum. Then, the audience lined up to listen to a little bit of history.
Support arms. With care. Arms. This prevents rain from running down the barrel and keeps the lock nice and dry underneath his armpit. Carry. Arms. We also have a number of other uniforms. On the left hand of the line, your right, the pioneer. Pioneer wears an apron and a beard, carries an axe and most of the tools for the unit. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the 33rd Foot.
After we heard all about how they used to live back in the day, we grabbed one of the lads for a little chat.
What I love about the reenactment is actually understanding the history. I've read so much about it in the past. To actually live it and be in the uniform and to wear the uniform and do the things which the soldiers did gives me a real feeling and understanding of what they had to go through. I'll be doing this. My full-time job is as a physiotherapist. I saw the unit at an English heritage event about 15 years ago with my family and saw them with a whole load of other Napoleonic reenactors and just fell in love with it there, and then I went straight round to the camp and said I wanted to join.
Although this was the main event of the weekend, this isn't all the museum has to offer, so we did a little bit of exploring. It was amazing to see the skills these people have held onto for years and years, passing it down generations, making clogs from scratch out of bits of wood, or weaving cloth that was still operated manually.
Well, that concludes our journey back in time. It's so amazing to see how everyone can come together and put on a fantastic performance. And they're going out with a bang.
Okay. Load!
Well, I'll tell you what, seeing them pancakes being made has made me hungry.
Well, did you not hear they actually have a cake, Brett? And speaking of the have a cake lads, we have one here. Hi John, we have John with us. So you're a member of the 33rd Regiment of Foot, which we just saw earlier. How did you first get into this hobby?
Well, I'd always wanted to do it because I knew friends who did it when I was at college. And when I went to university, there was a society that did 17th century reenactments, and that's how I got started. 13 years later, there was an excellent group about that do the 33rd, and Napoleon was always my love, so that's what I went over to.
Brilliant.
Could you tell us a bit of a period in history that you reenact?
Well, the Napoleonic period was exactly 200 years ago. The period we represent, it's a period that's familiar to a lot of people because of Jane Austen, and it was a time of history where Britain fought a superpower, which was France. It's the era of Napoleon, Wellington and Nelson.
Well, as everyone can see, you've brought some equipment with you. How
lot of equipment.
So how much training does it take to do what you do?
Well, for my group, usually in the winter months, we'll try to dedicate at least a day of each of those months to doing weapon training and drill and marching, and then the events, which are 1 or 2 each month when the weather improves, usually we'll be putting 2 or 3 hours every day into drill.
Sounds tiring.
You guys obviously travel far and wide to do what you do. You put on loads of events in the summer. What was the most memorable event for you?
I think one of them was when I did a march through Belgium near the Waterloo battlefield, when I actually slept in an old barn with a lot of people with a blanket wrapped over me, and then just get up in the morning and seeing the mist there and going out the doors, and there's just one sentry there stood. It was like stepping back in time.
Sorry, we're going to have to stop you there, John. I understand that you got some stuff for us to try on today.
Well, certainly. Those are spare pieces on my knapsack.
You can have the hat.
That's what I will be wearing when I'm not in battle or on parade.
Wow.
It might look like a Mr. Punch hat, or a very similar shape to a nightcap if you want to try it on. Yeah. It's called a forage cap. And it's called a forage jacket or a drill jacket, and just so you keep the red uniform clean and smart for battle and parade, for all your dirty jobs and just general messing around, you'll wear a white jacket like that.
Brilliant.
Oh, thank you very much, Sean.
Thank you very
much
for coming in and showing us all these things.
Well, thank you. Still to come, we have some live music from Leeds musician Beth Alwyn towards the end of the show. But first, let's go ghost hunting with Aaron. He was in Doncaster this week looking for things that go bump in the night.
Who investigates things that go bump in the night? We're here to meet with Danny Swindles, a paranormal investigator with Got to Get a Ghost, where we're going to take a look into the paranormal. During my sit down with Danny, I asked him to talk me through some of his equipment.
The stuff you've got here.
This is an EMF meter. This picks up on EMF in a building, in a location. EMF is short for electromagnetic fields. Electromagnetic fields are around us all the time.
Some of the items that he brought along with him included a dictaphone, a video camera and a digital camera to capture things that human eyes and ears cannot perceive. Danny proceeded to talk us through some examples of pictures that have captured orbs.
Of light.
Yeah.
And the eerie, like.
Yeah, you guys will be told and taught that they're just particles of dust.
Yeah.
Particles of dust do not look like orbs. Like the orb what you saw on the picture that I sent you the other day.
Yeah.
That was outside. Could be rain. Yeah, it could be rain. But rain does not form a jagged circle. It's always a perfect circle.
Later on that week, Danny invited me and my cameraman Matt to a ghost hunt.
So where are we, Danny?
This is leading down to Corbler Tunnels. Corbler Tunnel is an alleged haunted place where a young girl was run over by a train.
A train.
Camera.
Yeah, not sure of date, but it was when this train track was in tunnel in use. There used to be people taking shortcuts through to get from one end to other, and this young girl walking through looking for her mum, and that's when the train come through. It killed her, and that's supposedly who's still here, walking round, still looking for her mother.
Okay, so shall we turn all lights off now then and have a little keep recording?
Yeah, we're ready?
Yeah. Okay, here we go.
It is believed that ghosts generate an electromagnetic field. These investigators use an ovulus to interpret sounds made in the electromagnetic field into words, allowing the ghosts to communicate with the living. You won't believe what we heard.
Jim.
Yeah, would have been.
Africa.
Okay. My family is from Africa. My grandfather's from Africa.
Just as a silly question, what's your grandfather called?
Jim.
Really? Now what can happen sometimes when we come on paranormal events and do these ghost hunts, people can bring along with them spirit of family, friends and other things like that. And obviously this person hasn't been heard before. It's got this opportunity now to speak. Has found a device what they can speak on and just pass the message through to that person.
Right, a human pendulum is what you do is you get two people sort of like stood opposite each other, and you have another person and what you do is you ask spirit to come forward and move that person backwards and forwards slowly, just to make them rock. And as they start rocking, you get them to do it quicker.
As Danny and Stewie stood either side of me, I was aware of another presence that I could not explain. Although I knew I was in safe hands, nothing could prepare us for what we heard next.
Do you understand what we're saying?
Yes.
All of that.
By the way, did someone say yes?
No.
Well, just before Aaron's phone went off, I heard someone say yes.
Okay, that's good.
Coming here, I've got to admit, I was a complete skeptic. Never ever thought that, you know, there actually could ever be anything. But hearing that voice and seeing those pictures, because halfway through, like, I heard a voice in the headphones that no one else had made, because it was no one else's voice. And now I've got to admit, I am a bit more of a believer. I am, you know, I want to do it again. I want to go back in there now.
During my time with Gotta Get a Ghost, I have been opened up to a whole other world of existence by this incredible group of people.
So I want to thank Gotta Get a Ghost and other groups like it all over the country. Thank you.
Wow, definitely don't want to be going down there anytime soon.
Yeah, some spooky stuff.
Now, as the nicer weather should hopefully be just around the corner, you might be in the mood to try something a little bit different. Jess was in Wakefield this week to check out some activities that you may not have considered trying before. Here's what she got up to.
Wakefield, a city located in West Yorkshire by the River Calder on the eastern edge of the Pennines. I've come here to see what attractions there is to do, whatever the weather. One place that is popular for a nice day is the Yorkshire Sculpture Park. It's a great way to combine culture, exercise and fresh air for all the family. The Sculpture Park is set in the 500-acre Breton estate and opened in 1977. The history of the estate reaches back to Norman times, and the park are committed to protecting and developing this historic pleasure ground, whilst making it accessible to the visitors. They continue to work with artists to create opportunities for people to engage with sculpture in a meaningful way and provide educational programs for young people to learn creatively. There are around 70 sculptures and the park still continues to expand, including their new exhibition by Ursula von Weidingswald.
Not only are the sculptures a good thing to see, they're also good to get up close and personal with, so you can actually feel what the artists have made them out of. This particular sculpture is called Dream City by Anthony Caro. It's used different shapes and sizes to relate to the rooftops of New York buildings.
One new sculpture at the park is The Network by Tom Price. This sculpture came to the park in 2013 and has become a hit with the public. There are many interesting sculptures that people especially come to see, whether it's because of the unusual material or shape.
Sophie Ryder is the artist of this sculpture. She's renowned for her animal imagery, as you can tell in the sculpture behind me. Sitting is a monumental wirework which both overlooks and frames its surroundings.
Anthony Gormley is renowned for his distinctive representations of the human form, made from cast iron. He is well known for his creation, The Angel of the North. I went to see his sculpture, One and Other, which is by the Cascade Bridge.
I've been trying to find a sculpture from one of the most famous artists who people come to see, Anthony Gormley, and I couldn't find it until I looked on top of a tree.
There are many different types of sculptures ranging from old to new, such as the electronic galloping horse which was created by Julian Opie. The park has work from various artists such as Molecule Man by Jonathan Borowski, Buddha by Nikki de Saint Phalle, Marius and the Running Dogs by Sophie Ryder, Lady's Bonnet by Ursula von Weidingswald, and the famous seated figures by Magdalena Abukanovics. But when the weather isn't going your way, there's always an alternative.
For those of you who want more of a thrill, why not try out F1 go-karting?
F1 indoor karting proves very popular amongst the public. The indoor activity has been successful due to focusing on providing a fast, exciting but safe karting experience.
So I'm here with Nikki, who's one of the staff here at F1 go-karting. So how long have you been running for?
F1 car has been here since 1999.
Right, and what are the different sessions that you run?
It varies really. If you've got adults, we do race type events. If it's juniors, it's mainly a ride and drive.
And is it quite cheap or quite expensive?
Depends where you come through the week. We have deals, 3 for the price of 2, 10 while 5. After 5 PM it's £5 off a person. Right. Juniors it's £20 for half an hour. £30 for an hour. Adults maximum is 45, and that's like an hour's driving.
Alright, and what days are you open?
We're open 7 days a week, 10 while 10.
And when is the busiest?
Mainly weekends, Saturdays, Friday nights, Saturdays.
Right, let's go and have a look.
F1 was one of the first in the UK to have tarmac surfaces indoors. It has a range of sessions to suit everyone's needs, including private practices and even mini or full Grand Prix.
So how long is the track?
Track's about 550, 600 metres long.
And how actually fast are the carts?
The adult carts go around 40 miles an hour and the juniors 20 to 25.
Alright, so is this just the normal procedure? People get kitted up?
Yeah, they come, they get kitted up. Sometimes they watch the safety DVD. We take them down to the circuit, explain the main parts of the circuit, flag runs, and then off we go.
With their state-of-the-art timing system, 80-metre long speedy straight and hair-raising bends, nothing else brings you closer to the F1 experience.
Well, I'll tell you what, she's a better driver than me. Seriously, last time I went go-karting, I crashed into the wall and got fined.
Well, we know where you're not going again.
Yep. Now, that's about all we've got time for today, but we promise you some live music and it's time to deliver. Please welcome Leeds musician Beth Alwyn to sing us out.
Thanks for watching and we'll see you tomorrow.
Your taste made discreetly and unpleased my heart. The words that were spoken were painful and soft. Words, they all have meanings. You have no feelings. You were cold. You're empty and alone, full of deadly poison words. There are words, there are words, there are words, so bitter, so sweet, just a word. How can words so bitter come from something so sweet? How can love and hate come from one person's lips? Oh, words, they all have meanings. You had no feelings. You were cold. You're empty